Welcome back to the Relatable Podcast. Listen, guys, if there's one episode I recommend you listen to 5 times in a row, I'm telling you it's this episode. I'm going to give you guys a brief I'm going to give you guys a brief overview of kind of what we spoke about in this episode, who we're speaking to, and why you need to listen. So, with all that being said, I'm going to hop right into it. Rabbi Yaakov Klein is a well-known author, talented musician, and respected teacher who shares the deep beauty of Chassidic wisdom and Jewish spirituality. In this amazing episode, we sit down with Rabbi Yaakov Klein to explore how the small details of our lives hold the key to what makes us unique and empower of connecting with others, ourselves, and God. We talk about finding our purpose, accepting who we are, and living with intention, all while connecting Jewish teachings to real-life transformative ideas. This conversation will inspire you to discover your inner strength, align with your purpose, and embrace the beauty of living a spiritual, enriched life. Guys, we give practical tips, connecting more to Judaism, connecting more to yourself, your friends, relationship advice, everything in between. I think this is a crucial episode to listen to. And today's episode is in memory of Rachel Bat Paretz and Shlomo Ephraim Ben Paretz. The neshama should have the biggest aliyah, and it should keep spreading light to all over Kal Yisrael. With that being said, let's hop into this phenomenal episode. This is Mo.
And this is Aryeh.
And you're listening to
The Relatable Podcast. Let's do it! Thank you so much for being here. This is awesome. Absolutely awesome. So I just want to start off by came a little prepared and just show the camera. Yeah. The story of our lives. This is Rav Nachman's famous story of the lost princess. And Rabbi Yaakov Klein has wrote an absolute masterpiece. I've learned this with got to be over 50 people, at least, Mo Floor included. No big time. Yeah, but in depth for sure. Not religious yet. People who are like no connection to Hasidus and everything in between. And a lot of notes on this, a lot of side papers. I have notebooks written on this. So I just want to start off by really thanking you for helping me on this journey, because this is huge for me.
Incredible. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And you have to send me all of your chidushim, all of your notes.
Yeah, I don't know how much it is, but yeah, for sure. We'll exchange that.
I was a big notes guy.
Yeah,
I flipped through it before. It's mind-blowing.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you. So let's just start there. How, to the listener who's unfamiliar with Rav Nachman's Torah, with, for sure, the Lost Princess, just a brief outline of what that story is, what resonates with you, how do you get involved with that, and just take us through that journey.
Sure, absolutely. First of all, thank you guys for having me.
Of course.
It's a real schus to sit with you.
It's a real
two
schus
shining
for us,
souls. You know, we had, for those who are just watching, we had like a pre-podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Just getting to know each other, and you guys are remarkable. You know, each one of you.
That means a lot.
What you're doing is remarkable. And I was just telling somebody last night also, we had a little farbring in Givat HaMiftar. Mamish a fire, a wildfire, as I spoke about wildfire. Mentioned that also came down in the moment. But our souls are mamish. And this boy came over to me also, first year of his medrash, young.
That's cool.
You might know him. We'll give him a shout out. I think his name is Gabe Bauman, I think.
Shout out Gabe Bauman.
Awesome.
And he's a musician. He's putting out the most beautiful, beautiful music. And I told him, this is a new thing in Am Yisrael, where young people aren't waiting for permission from somebody to share their light. It's clear to people that the world is so desperate and hungry that you don't have to wait. So to see young people, it's the most beautiful thing. It's the spirit of Mashiach. It's the spirit of Mashiach. The pasuk says, "V'nivu b'neichem u'b'neisechem." Your sons and daughters will prophecy, or another pasuk. It's that pasuk too, but that's a malbim. It's a longer thing, but I'll just do a simpler pasuk. Kulam yedu I see. Hashem says, all will know me. Limiketanim v'ad gedolim. From the ketanim to the old. So you'd assume that it would be the opposite. Say limikedolim v'ad ketanim. As we come to Mashiach, it's the youth, it's the young people that really know. And the Malbim on that pasuk that I mentioned earlier says that explicitly.
Wow.
Because the pasuk makes reference to the Zekanim having chaloimus, having dreams, the Bachurim, the sort of, the younger people, not mamish children, the younger people will have chezionot. They'll have like a chazon, which is a little bit clearer it's not mamish prophecy, but it's a little bit clearer than a dream.
It's a vision of some sort.
The vision, and then it says that the children, v'nivu b'neichem u'b'neiseichem, the children will have clear prophecy.
I want to ask Rabbi a question on this.
I'll just share for one second just to finish the thought. So the Malbim says that the Zikanim that are long time away from the Ar of Mashiach because they're the previous generation, they'll only have like a vague dream. The Bachurim, who are a little bit closer, they'll have a chazon. But the little children, that their neshamas came down closest to the time of Mashiach, they'll have the prophecy. It's a mind-blowing Malbim. I encourage everybody to look it up inside. Yeah.
Well,
First of all, l'chaim. I made a bracha before and I had this in mind.
It's not vodka, don't worry, Chabra.
9:30 a.m., guys. Relax.
Say l'chaim on tea also. L'chaim.
Wow, that's actually great tea. Oh. Okay, so dive right in. I don't want to make it so practical already.
I didn't really answer the first question. That was just a prelude.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get there.
Yeah,
don't worry.
I'm sorry.
It's a flow.
Sometimes I go on tangents.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Rabbi, do whatever your style is. I want to ask, I think this is super, super powerful message because most of our audience is between, 18 and 20, 27.
Sure.
And someone just finding themselves right now, they're trying to find the light inside them. What are some practical tips or what do you think guys should do to find what they're really passionate about, what they really could give back?
Excellent question. Rabbi Tzaddik says, Rabbi Tzaddik HaKaim Lublin, right, student of the Ishbitzer Rebbe, Kotsk, Pshisch, going back. So Rabbi Tzaddik writes, and Rabbi Nachman says the same thing in Sichas Haran, similar thing. Now, how does a person know what they're here to work on? It's like the question. Everybody has a tafkid. How do you know what the tafkid is?
The mission.
Everybody has something to do in this world. So Rabbi Nachman says, Rabbi Tzaddik says, find the thing that's the hardest for you. That's your tafkid. Right?
Whoa.
It's the thing that you're challenged by the most. And that's for sure true. But that's in the aspect of sur meira, staying away from the negative. Right? Because the verse says that, Pasuk in Tehillim, sur meira v'asei tov. You stay away from evil, you do good. So that's called sur meira. How do you know what you're here to do from the standpoint of what the Ramchal refers to in Adab Amarim, creating the kli, creating the vessel? Right, means cleaning the schmutz, like meaning getting the dirt out of the way just to clean the room. So you find out what's hardest for you and you work on that. But what about the asay tov? Because there are two things, right? Yeah. There's the sur meira that's getting the negative, and then there's the drawing down a new light into the world. So I didn't see this in a sefer anywhere, but Kasvi Maluch Lebecha came from my heart. I think it's pashat. I think it's simple. Find the thing that you like the best. Find the thing that's easiest for you, that you love to do,
I think
that you enjoy. If you're able to find a way to channel what you enjoy into holiness, what do you think? HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave a person a good voice. Stam? What's stam? Kabbalas Hashem mehoincha. It's a pasuk. Honor God with your wealth, but the pasuk, the Chazal say, Al tikra mehoincha ela migroincha. Then say, honor God with your wealth. Says with your voice. You have a way to sing. Old Tehillim is David HaMelech singing. Imagine if he played a harp and some Rebbe told him. Imagine this, a spittle tire. Imagine we wouldn't have Tehillim for thousands of years. I guarantee you, if David HaMelech would have lived in this generation, Nebuch, Hashem should protect everybody, there would have been somebody in some yeshiva would have told him, so what are you doing the whole time? So, Tzamach Nafshi, come learn Baba Basra. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Do you know that there are going to be mothers for thousands of years who are looking for a way to express what they're feeling in their heart when their child is taken out to battle in Ukraine with the Cantonistim taking their kid, or a person sitting in a hospital corridor outside of a room where somebody's having surgery. Imagine if we would be bereft of Tehillim. Tehillim is the heart and soul of our nation. Tehillim came into the world because one young man called David HaMelech, David ben Yishai, believed that if HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him a talent, he's supposed to use it. And it goes across the board. I'm using music as an example. Art. You know what a person can reveal the honor of Hashem in the world through art? A person's good with technical things, video cameras, microphones. That's what the whole thing started. So I made a comment about how blown away I am that young people are taking their talent and they're mamish using it to bring Kedusha into the world. It's the most remarkable thing. Why did you decide to do the podcasting? Because you have a tchunas hanefesh, that this is something you enjoy, and you found a way to use it properly. So to me, it's just a matter of reflecting on your life. What are the things that make you happy? Then find a way to channel that for Kedusha.
I think that's my real question is, I want to make this really relatable for a second. A lot of guys, I think they do actually struggle finding what they enjoy. Like I ask people all the time, what do you like to do as a hobby? What do you enjoy? What makes you happy? And guys like really struggle. People really struggle to answer the question. So when that's in that position, what would you say to them?
Yeah. Most people have something that if they're not, extraordinarily talented in, they do, if they think hard enough, they can think about their own inyan. It doesn't have to be a hobby. Rabbi Tzaddik says you can tell a lot about a person by what they talk about. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it could be subliminal, be subconscious. So a certain guy is always talking about food. He never cooked scrambled eggs in his life, but he appreciates food.
Yo, that restaurant on the block.
Yeah,
crazy, right?
So the whole time he's talking about food and whatever. Food. Mamish bring Hashem into the world through food. Maybe he's supposed to, Reb Shaila. Maybe he's supposed to become a cook and a chef and prepare the most delicious food for Shabbos Kodesh and have guests and really enjoy that he gave people Einik Shabbos. I don't know. It's just a thought. So that's true for most people. Sometimes not as obvious. Sometimes it's mamish obvious. Sometimes not so obvious. So the person has to reflect, and the person has to think. Maybe other people have to help that person reflect. But then, and this is crucial, and you would have read this, I think, in chapter 5, right? We talk in chapter 5. We'll get back to because it is an important question. I want to get back to that. But in chapter 5, we speak about the concept of the shvil manatzad, that narrow path to the side. That every person who's searching for the soul of life, which in the context of the book is called the princess, which gets lost. So Rabbi Nachman says the only way to get there is the shvil manatzad. It's a small little side path. And the way that we interpret it, there are millions of interpretations. I just took one, and I tried to make a unified narrative that runs through the whole story. You have to find your own way. You have to find your own path. So the way that we said it over there, I didn't really speak so much, if you noticed, about personal hobbies, abilities. I spoke about 3 things: Torah, Tefillah, and mitzvahs. These are the 3 areas where people most often lose their individuality because they learn what everyone else is learning. They daven the words that everyone else is davening, and they do mitzvahs like everybody does mitzvahs. So to me, Bitur Yehudi, like as a Jew, means what I'm most focused on is how do I make Torah my own? How do I make Tefillah my own? How do I make mitzvahs my own? And I make it very practical. It's 3 things. Torah. Torah is extraordinarily broad and vast. We've been hoodwinked a bit in our yeshiva experience, many of us, to think that Torah is limited to like 4-5 yeshiva masechtas, and even then a couple of daf and a couple of prakim. If you're mamash and mitzuyin, then you'll finish the whole masechta, which is beautiful, and then you'll forget it the next month, whatever it is, and a little bit will stay with you, but not clarity. People don't mamash have clarity. You move on, and I understand that's the tradition, and that teaches people how to learn, and hopefully once they leave yeshiva, then they can mamash explore. When I was your age, which I feel like I'm still your age, it's a weird thing.
I keep on like a Rabbi.
I keep on getting older, but I still feel like a teenager. It's like a bizarre thing. But when I was younger, a bit younger, it was a revelatory for me to discover that Torah included other things. I just mentioned on a podcast recently, I was with Rabbi Ephraim Goldberg.
Ooh,
nice.
Boca.
Ephraim Boca.
So
we had a beautiful conversation. So I didn't know that there was anything else. And my whole soul was searching my whole life. I wanted to know why I'm here, Bichlal, not what to do now that I'm here. I wanted to know why I'm here in the first place. And what I was getting was what to do, how to do it, where to do it, and when to do it.
No whys.
No whys. And if there was a why, it was on the level of a tamei mitzvah, like within that localized mitzvah. But I'm trying to put together a puzzle. How am I going to put together a puzzle if I don't know what the picture looks like that I'm supposed to be putting together? A person is putting the puzzle together. The first thing you do is look at the picture on the box. Otherwise, ain't sikui. So the whole Yiddishkeit is a puzzle. Every mitzvah is a puzzle piece. Every experience of life, aliyus, yeridas, going up, going down, these are puzzle pieces. I don't know why. I don't know the big picture, mamish, the picture why. And so I started to discover that Torah includes parts of it which are completely focused on the why. And they don't just tell me, now that you're here, here's what to do. They tell me why I'm here in the first place. What's the big picture? Gila Kfayt Shemayim. What it means to be a part of Knesset Yisrael. What it means Jewish history. Where did we come from? Where are we going? What am I supposed to do in this world? And I'll never forget, I mentioned this, apologies to anybody who heard this already. It's just the truth. I'm say it over again. I opened up a Michtam Eliyahu from Reb Dessler. And I just started looking at the table of contents, and I see he's discussing everything that I ever wanted to discuss. And then I discovered Chassidus, which took it, super much deeper and more for our generation. I think, Reb Dessler was drawing on Chassidus, but he put it in a slightly different language. And the Chassidim were just saying the thing, so without any tires, just Yashar Lalev, especially Rabbi Nachman, straight to the heart. So find your own area of Torah. What I was saying is Pnimius HaTorah, or Chassidus, the why. But there's also halacha. If a person feels very connected to a certain area of halacha, learn it.
Go for it.
And become a master in it. A person feels connected to Navi. Navi is fascinating. I remember in Yeshiva, there was somebody who was learning Navi. He's like, we could turn this into a reality TV show. Like, easy. The drama, the intrigue, the
betrayals.
Mamish. It's you couldn't script it better. Learn Navi. Become a master in Navi.
But really do it. Not 20 minutes on the side.
Yeah. Learn it.
That's your thing.
You can read it in English. Do a chapter a day. Whatever it is, in English. Become a master in Navi.
Right.
That's Torah. So that means that even a person who's unremarkable, which I don't really believe, but let's say that there's a person who doesn't have something special, or it's more difficult for them to find it, fine. Go into the Torah and find the Torah that speaks to you, that lights your heart on fire. That's your chelik. The Gemara says in Avodah Zarah, "Ein adam lo mitar ela b'makom sheli b'chafetz." A person can only learn Torah b'makom sheli b'chafetz, in that part of Torah that their heart wants. You can't force somebody to learn Torah that they're not connected to. You just can't do it.
Why is there a guilt trip though? Even for myself to break away from the Gemara molds, Chassidus is all that I do now. There's still that chip on the shoulder. Okay, it's cute, it's nice.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, and I do want to get back to the other two of tefillah and mitzvahs. Keep in mind that as history unfolds, the nature of the metaphysical reality is shifting. Things are changing. There's a wheel that's turning. Every second that Rizal gives kavanas, every hour there are new iris that are being brought down, new lights. Take a look at Avshachai makes a reference. He has Tatraf. There's certain every chelik of the day is like a new revelation. That's true. Even every minute that we sit here is new lights. Every minute is new. Certainly every day, certainly every month, certainly every year, certainly every decade, every century, every millennia. So we've been in exile for 2,000 years. And the main thing, in order to constitute an entity that would make it to the end of time, we needed to focus on halacha and Gemara. Because without that, klum yeh.
It wouldn't stick together. It was the glue.
If you have a neshama without a guf, I spoke about this last night. I said, notice, HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't vayipach be'avir ruach chaim. God just blew, a soul into the world and then quickly put clumps of earth around it.
First formed the body.
God formed the body, and then into that body, he breathed a soul. Because a soul without a body is a ghost. A soul without a body is a ghost. A body without a soul is a corpse. But a corpse is much more economical for Olam Hazeh. Because kol zman that you have a body could be Tchias HaMesim. It's very deep, even in halacha.
There's still hope, you're
You shouldn't say bad things. A person is cremated. There's no body left. There's no body left. So throughout exile, we've been focusing on the guf of Torah, which is hein gufei halachos, just to do the thing. Dayanim, rabbanim, mitzvahs, halachas, gemaras, parameters. Something's changing now. Now the thing that is changing, chas v'shalom, is intended to make us denigrate, disregard, look down on, chas v'shalom, the guf of Torah. The new thing that's happening is that what our souls are yearning for is to experience halacha in a way that's alive, in a way that's full of elokus, in a way that's full of Hashem's light. If a person knows how, you can find that in Gemara. Because Gemara, your mamish, learning Gemara with Hashem. Take a look in the Baal Tanya, Parak Bey, Parak Dalid, later on as well. It's funny, like it took me until I learned the Chassidic Sefer to fall in love with Gemara be'emes.
Wow.
Why? Because I want a relationship with God. I don't want an ancient archaic text that's telling me about bulls that are goring each other and people fighting over talesim. I want God. I want a relationship with Hashem. So the Baal Tanya explains that learning Gemara is the deepest intimacy that you could ever have. He says it's an intimacy b'chol tzad upina, because the Gemara and the halacha more specifically is the will of God, and I'm binding my will with His will, and it's the most beautiful unity. So it's not about what we learn; it's about how we learn it. Learning Pnimiyas HaTorah will enable a person to return to Niglas HaTorah, which either is Gemara or halacha, because those are indispensable. You can't do away with them, and to engage with them in a way of vitality and soul. Now that's one level. That's the level of Kabbalah. Kabbalah is teaching us halacha is the body, and sod, Pnimiyas HaTorah in all of its forms, is the neshama, and you need to bring the neshama into the guf. That's the revelation of the Arizal of Kabbalah. The Baal Shem Tov is something completely different. In his Sefer Achsharas Avreichim, more specifically Mevoya Sha'arim, which is a part of what was going to be the next Sefer in the set of the Piasatz Rebbe Sefer, it was going to be called Chovas HaAvreichim. So there's Chovas HaTalmidim, which you're familiar with. And then there is Hachsharas Avreichim, and then he was writing a third book called Chovas HaAvreichim, the obligation of the young married. The Holocaust happened.
Yeah.
But he began writing that Sefer, and that's called Mevoah Sha'arim, and it's included within the Sefer Achsharas Avreichim. Around, I think 9 or 10, 11 prakim. And in there he says, you know what the Gilui of the Baal Shem Tov was? Because what did the Baal Shem come to change? The Arizal already revealed all the secrets of Torah, the mysteries, esoterica, metaphysics. What did the Baal Shem Tov originate? See, he says, because according to the Arizal, there's lights and vessels. There's souls and bodies. It's neshama and guf. He says what the Baal Shem Tov came to reveal in the world is that the body is also soul. Is that the vessels are also made out of light. It isn't there's a world and then God is in the world. Is that ein oid milvado k'pshutai mamish. There is nothing else.
It's just godliness.
It's just godly. It's just elokus. So from that perspective, we can apply that back to Gemara halacha vis-a-vis Pnimiyas HaTorah. A person who's mamish learning Baal Shem Tov sees the Gemara as elokus. There is no vessel. The learning of halacha is mamish could be filled with the fire of dveikus. The question is not what you learn, but it's how you learn it. So every person will find their own, the reason why we feel guilty is because we're carrying on our back the quote-unquote misora of galus. And we are the generation that's supposed to make the transition from Gullus to Geula. And there was such a frenetic focus on like, you got to learn halacha because what's going to be, because what's going to happen to Klal Yisrael if we don't have the body. And what we need to remind ourselves, you don't have to fight with other people. Because forget what other people think. What we need to remind ourselves is that B'chazdei Hashem, Higanu, we've arrived. We made it. We're back in Eretz Yisrael. There are yeshivas and koilim and machonim and svarim and AI rabbis online and everything that you could ever ask for in terms of keeping Torah mitzvahs. You can buy that you shouldn't have to chas v'shalom take the effort and time to mix salt with water for your Pesach Seder. You can buy salt water in the stores now, kosher with the whole thing. They sell special salt water meaning whatever you need, you can have.
The framework's all there.
The framework is there. Mm. We don't have to focus so much on the framework. It's already there. What we need now is pnimius. And again, I remind you, that doesn't mean that what we need now is to forsake Nigla and to learn Nister. What we need now is the pnimius perspective that will enable us to engage with the limud of Nigla and the keeping of halacha in a way that's fire. Fire, fire, fire. That's Torah. It's tefillah. Very simple. 3 times a day that we daven is not my words. That's Chazal's words. David HaMelech's words, Psukei de Zimra. It's Chazal, Anshe Knesset Gedola. And that's beautiful. And the Anshe Knesset Gedola were mikubalim. People don't realize they were mikubalim. That means that every word is not stam. Kavanas ha'arid, Kavanas ha'rashash. They're revealing the secrets of every single letter of Shemona Esrei. It's all Kabbalah. It's all Pnimius. It's all. But Rabbi Nachman said that when you travel on a highway, it's a very beautiful experience because it's paved and it's smooth. But there's a danger because there are robbers on a highway. Because they know that that's where everybody travels and they're there to
get you.
To get you. Says the Rebbe, when you travel on a shvil manatzad, when you go on your own little pathway to the side, it's much bumpier. It's not paved. It's like motor. What's it called? Like mountain biking. It's right, exactly. Those Red Bull little videos. It's not simple, right? Not simple. But there's no robbers there.
And what is that side path?
So what does that mean? The highway of prayer is the 3 tefillos a day. What's the robber? Roboticism. A person is just a robot. He's just saying words, doesn't feel anything. This is what Anshe Knesset Gedola said. This is tefillah. And, these strange things sometimes, like you're a middle Shemona Esrei and you end up in benching. You're not sure how you got there. I'm like,
hold up, back
what
him.
to do now?
Wait a minute.
And you have to flip to the back of the sitting. You're like, there's not even there. Like, there's no halacha that tells you what to do. If all of a sudden you end up in Neidel Chashem Lekenu, you're middle of Birchas Hamazon. Like, why does that happen? I'm exaggerating, but it's because we're Machlal not present. That's not tefillah. Mm-hmm. That's I don't know what it is. It's I don't even know what it is. It's the recitation of some ancient Hebrew.
To-do list.
I don't know what that is. So what's the shvil manatzad? Says Rabbi Nachman, the shvil manatzad is called hispodidus, which means you make tefillah your own. Which means you start to speak to Hashem in your own words. It's bumpier because there's no text. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you're going to show up and you're not going to have anything to say. And sometimes you're not in the mood. And sometimes you don't know where it will go because it's not scripted. But there are no robbers. There's no rote. You can't do hispodidus by rote. Because by very nature, it's something fresh, it's something new, it's a davar chadash that you're bringing out into the world. It's your life, it's what's going on, it's the circumstances in the world. It's and you bring that all into hispodidus and you put it into your own words. You make tefillah your own. You find your own way in tefillah. And again, it's the same thing with Nigla Nister. We don't mean that a person who's doing hispodidus doesn't need to daven. Has mila hasker. On the contrary, I would say that the more a person does hispodidus, and really begins to build a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the relationship of hispodidus, which Rabbi Nachman introduced to Rabbi Nassan. He put his arm around his shoulders. which itself was like a pella, because like which Chassidic Rebbe is putting his arm around somebody's shoulder. Rabbi Nachman was not from this. He was from our dar. Rabbi Nachman was one of the boys. Rabbi Nachman was mamish. He was like a Rabbi Kalish figure. Rabbi Nachman was he was so ahead of his time. It's shocking that he didn't have more opposition than the opposition he had, because there was no framework for him. Like, what are you talking about? So the Rebbe put his arm around Reb Nosson, and he said, "I'll say in Yiddish and weiter Zeir Git." I'm very proud of this. It's the only thing I know how to say in Yiddish. So I always like to say.
You practice this one.
It's like recitation before the mirror. He said, "In weiter Zeir Git." It's very good. Now the pressure's on. I'm feeling a little pressure. As min even of dem hearts for Hashem Yisbarach.
Sounded great to me.
Thank you. I could have spoken in German, and also you know.
How you doing?
As min even of dem hearts for Hashem Yisbarach, to open up your heart in front of Hashem, wie far an emisser get in front, like you would to your best friend. So before Rabbi Nachman, everybody knows that God's a king, and everybody knows that God's a master. And everybody maybe, hopefully, knows that God's your father. After Rabbi Nachman, God's your best friend in the whole world.
It's your boy.
Wow.
It's a new gilui. It's a new revelation.
Oh my gosh.
So once a person builds that relationship through Hispodidus, you come back to Mincha and you're like, that's the same God. Es semach David Avdecha. It's not stam words in a book. I'm talking to my best friend, and I built that relationship because I built it in Hispodidus. It's like the chip, like the micro, like, you know, that powers the whole Yiddishkeit. Hispodidus is the tamtis of the tamtis. It's the most refined essence of spiritual connection. Hispodidus, because what more can you get? You can sit and learn exercise your whole life. You can be a buck in all the Chassam Seifers and everything, and it's holy and it's beautiful and it's gewaldic. 5 minutes of Hispodidus. No book, no text, no gimmick, no covered, no feeling of accomplishment. Nothing. You're not going to get a sticker, a pat on the back. Klum. No one will even
make
know.
stickers. I did Hispodidus today.
Oh,
Can we do that?
that would take away.
I was going to say, right.
Nothing.
Oh,
You
gosh.
sit for 5 minutes
Oh.
and you open up before the divine. What could be more straight than that? What could be more straight?
So fun.
And especially in this, Reb Nosson says in Likutei Halachos Hilchos Rosh Chodesh. It's an amazing piece if you can take a look at that piece. Reb Nosson says over there that there are 3 kinds of tefillah. He says the first layer of tefillah is a person who davens for physical things. A person needs money, a person needs health, which is fine. That's very beautiful. A person's allowed to daven for their things, but it's the lowest level. Davening for themselves, Batsem, right? Now it's beautiful because you're davening to God, but it's self-oriented. Second level up is a person who davens for physical things, but because they want to channel it for godliness. It's a higher level. So you're still asking for Gashmias, but that I should be able to have money and Parnasa, so that I should be able, to have guests for Shabbos and to have a nice home, that I should be able to have people and a host, I should have enough money to send my kids to Jewish school and so on. These 2 levels existed before Rabbi Nachman. I'm telling you really what Rabbi Nachman brought to the world. Everybody wants to know, it's like, what's the difference Rabbi Nachman, the Baal Tanya, and the other one? Every tzaddik had his own light. I'm telling you now the essence of what Rabbeinu HaKadosh brought to the world is the 3rd level, where you daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to be able to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Not for anything physical, even to channel it for godliness. Just, I want to be close to you. I don't want anything else. Imagine a husband and a wife, and the wife is trying to buy him something, I'm giving a mashal kilo. I just thought of this mashal. It's a medrash. Listen to this. It's a medrash. I'm so happy this came into my mind, and I'm so happy to sit with you. I wish we, I don't know how much time, but I would sit with you for hours and hours and hours. The medrash says that there was a couple who came to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and they couldn't have children together for 10 years. It's a big halachic sugya about that, whether a person has to divorce or whatever it is, and Peri Verivia, and they couldn't. And they're a lot of halachic considerations you can paskin out of the medrash. And they came to Rashbi and they said, it's been 10 years. I want children. And we're gonna divorce. And Rashbi said, do you love each other? He said, very much. He said, so we'll do the gittin tomorrow.
The divorce.
But tonight, just spend one last night, like make a party. Because this is Ratzon Hashem. You're not doing it because you hate each other, you're doing it because this is the will of God. So they got together for a Suda, and it was very beautiful. And the Suda was by the husband's parents, who was very wealthy. Husband's parents. And the husband was just so full of love that he told his soon-to-be ex-wife, he said, Mamish, I love you so much. Anything you see in this house, it's yours.
Just any painting, any statue, whatever you want.
Anything, just, it's yours. Take whatever you want. Full of the most precious, expensive pottery, different beautiful things, heirlooms, things, ancient things. Beautiful. Open your hearts. He woke up in the morning and he was next to his wife in her parents' house. So what's going on here?
We divorced. It's over.
They didn't mamish get divorced. They were going to get divorced that day, but it was, what am I doing? And she says, well, you told me to take what I wanted. And you had a lot to drink, you fell asleep. The only thing I want is you. Do you hear this? She takes him. So the only thing that I want is you. You come to us and you're speaking to Hashem. We're going to ask you for things like, I don't want anything. I want you. Only you. The B'ditcher Rav says, we say, Shabbos morning, and so on. Which means, translate, right? There's nothing, it literally means there's nothing comparable to you in this world. There's nothing else in Olam Haba, meaning God. It's just, there's nothing that compares to God. Not here, not there, not anywhere. When not when Mashiach comes, not when Olam Haba. So it's very beautiful. You read it, it's like a praise of God. You're saying God is so great that, says the B'ditcher, you know what it means? This is Chassidus. This is what Chassidus does. It's the same psukim and the same Amar Chazal, but it's a twist, and it just changes the whole thing. Makes it relatable. Says the B'ditcher, it's the Jew talking to God and saying, not that there's nothing compared to you because you're so great, but that nothing you could give me in this world would match up to just having you. And not just in this world, but in Olam Haba. You're going to give me schar? I don't want schar. I want you. And after Mashiach comes, it's all sweet and cute and beautiful. It's you. And in Olam Haba, it's just you. That's his spodidus. When you build a relationship with Hashem like that, it's game over, achi. It's a different universe. It's a different universe. And then you bring that back to the Gemara, just to go back to learning for a second. You're an neshama that's connecting to its source. That's why you were in this world in the first place. It's not that now you happen to be in this world, you got to figure out what to do. That's why you're in this world. And in doing that, you're fixing the whole world. By having emunah, you look at the world in a different way. You confer this reality upon existence. You're revealing the Shekhinah. And when every human being does that, Mashiach will be here. Because the world is, everything you see around you is already perfect. The world be'etzem is perfect. Nature is perfect. It's the human beings that are the make it or the break it. And we've been breaking it for thousands and thousands of years. And now we're starting to make it. Wick by wick, flame by flame, Jew by Jew. And then when we activate ourselves as a nation, got to bring the whole humanity back. We can do it. We must do it. And we will do it.
Wow. It's unbelievable.
That's Hispodidus. Mitzvahs. Every person finds that mitzvah. This goes back to what I said before about what you like to do. Find the mitzvah that you connect to. For me, I've said this in the past, Hanukkah Neris is my thing. There's nothing more beautiful to me in the whole Yiddishkeit than lighting Hanukkah candles.
Sitting by the flames.
I could speak now a long thing about Hanukkah. I'm not gonna. Yeah. Hanukkah is my main thing. Find a mitzvah that you like and do it limahadrin. Learn all the halachas about it until you become a baki in it. Beautify it. Put money into it. Put time into it. Make it yours. Own it. When you can do this with Torah, with tefillah and mitzvahs, then you found yourself. You found your special thing. And when a person lives like that, their unique relationship with Hashem will shine in the world in a unique way.
Whoa. Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Crazy stuff. Crazy. I don't know what to say. It's not normal.
This is what we need, right? This is what all of your friends are looking for. My
horizon is like...
I really... What's jumping at me the most, first of all, you spoke beautifully, and it was really from the heart. Really resonated with me, and I'm sure as Mo as well. It's that unification process that you're describing as well, that it's not two unique distinctions of Chassidus, Gemara. It's all there together. It's all one, and take your time and explore that and bring back to one another. And it's all one beautiful, harmonious connection with Hashem.
Remember what I said? In the Arizal, it's all one because it's body and soul and you need them. In the Baal Shem, it's mamish all one because it's all Elokus.
It's all one soul. It's beautiful.
You know how many tears I cried to be able to find this? Do you know nobody was speaking like this when I was your age? Kamat.
Yeah.
Now, it's everywhere. It's happening. Now it's really happening. And just like the ability to share it after years of working this through, and like, it's the greatest gift, because literally my only goal in life is to be there for other people like I wish someone would have been there for me. Full stop, period. And so when I look at you, I see me. 15 years, down the line, whatever. I see me. Because I know what you need, because I needed it. That's why I tell my high school students all the time. I'm teaching in London, Are we on?
Yeah.
I tell them all the time, like, you can't fool me. You can't fool me in terms of like what you are or aren't going through. Not because I don't believe you, but because I am you. I was you, but it's not even I was you. I am you. I'm a human being like you are. I know what your souls are yearning for. You can deny it. You can tell me it's not true. It's all cute and sweet. I tell them right away. I don't play games. I'm just cut to the chase. Sometimes you're speaking and everybody's joking and laughing. It's sweet to joke and laugh when you're around your friends in high school and everybody's chummy. I know what it means at night when a person's broken and lonely. I know what that means. So I don't buy it. I don't buy all this stupid surface level shtiot. I don't buy it.
I love it. Wow.
Because the real truth is not in those moments. That's not the real truth. That's how you show up in the world. That doesn't concern me because I don't care about that. It's not MS. What I care about is what you're really feeling, your insecurities, your anxieties, your struggles and challenges, your frustrations. That's the real stuff. And that's the stuff that most people don't ever, bring that to work. So you can tell me that 99% of your life is spent, wearing a painted smile on your face. So I'm so happy. Like, no, I don't care how much percent you're right. Mom's a clown in a nebuch, like in a certain way, you're a clown, right? That's not where it's at. To me, we cut to the chase. We speak to people, mamish, like they need to be spoken to. Now, just on a pragmatic educational level, and then we'll get to the
you're working up big words over here. You got to educate
I'm sorry.
a little bit. Pragmatic.
We love it.
I love pragmatic just means like practical, basically.
Okay, sick.
Right? Practical.
I was going to start using that.
I'm writing that down.
Practical means. Yeah, practical. We know.
Yeah.
So pragmatic means practical. Just on a very basic level, a lot of the reason why education fails or is so difficult is for the purely pragmatic, practical, mitzias reality of the fact that we need to have classrooms. And it's a collective learning experience where you have 20 students, 25 students, sometimes more than that, and one teacher. And the limitation of that is extraordinary. And I'm not kvetching about it. I'm just saying, like, I understand why it needs to be that way. We don't have the money. We don't have the resources. We don't have the people to make, what's it called, a teacher for every student. However, what I have found is that real transformation, and you probably know this, is in the one-on-one. It's in the one-on-one for two reasons. Number one, because when it's one-on-one there, and it's the same thing we spoke about with Hashem, there's the relationship aspect that comes out that's even more impactful than whatever information is being spoken. Because education is more than that. It's not information. It's an experience, right? It's a relationship. It's somebody who cares about me. It's trust. I can go to all the lectures in the world. If I don't trust the person, if I don't feel that person has my best interest in mind, so it's beautiful information, but it doesn't go in. That's number one. And number two, you're able to tailor make the content fit to that person's own level, that person's own struggle, that person's own thing. So I try as much as I can to chap people one-on-one. Because I can give shiur my whole life. And Baruch Hashem, people listen to shiur and they enjoy the shiur. When it's one-on-one, it's a whole different world.
Wow.
Whole different world. And you know that. I know that, right?
That might be the beauty of this podcast also, because although it's a wide form content, there's something very personal about this interaction right now.
Sure. No, podcasting is part of the light of the redemption. What's podcasting? A shiur is a person who's just pontificating. Podcasting is like democratic in a way. It's an even playing field. We're both sitting here. I want to hear from you. You want to hear from me. We want to share an experience together. Never before in history do you have, the Belzer Rebbe, sitting down and okay, we still got to get him on the podcast. I don't know if we'll get him on the podcast. Him, you might need to do by Zoom.
Maybe Rebbe can hit us up.
But you didn't have such a thing. They weren't having relatable, like down to earth, person to person, like, oh, you're a human. Tell me about that. What's it like to be a human in the form of a rabbi? Mm-hmm. Like, tell me about your humanity as it expresses itself in this form. Right. That's what a podcast means.
Parsha talks about the green grass.
B'diuk.
Yeah.
Right. It's like people just sitting there talking abstract ideas and saying divrei Torah from here till tomorrow, but there's no authenticity in it. Anybody can get up and say a speech. AI, I promise you, can give better speeches than any rabbi in the world.
Yes.
It's not helping anybody, not changing anybody's life. It's just not, because it's a robot. Podcasting is democratic. Somebody said the most beautiful Torah is forgetting. We just spent Shabbos here with 30 rabbanim from all 6 countries who are teaching this kind of language. That's why I'm a bit, more fired up than usual. I'm always, Baruch Hashem, fired up.
Perfect timing, baby. Perfect
timing.
But it was good timing, I should say. And last night's Fabringen, if anybody can listen to that, mamish.
Who were you with? Your Moshe Weinberger?
No, it was myself.
Oh.
Humble self, but just in Gavana Miftar. I've never spoken like that before in my life.
Wow.
I came directly from that and just unleashed. It was mamish. It was giluyim. Like, it was really something special. So if you're able to listen to that, it'll be on our YouTube and everything.
We'll post on the link.
We're gonna put that in the description.
So somebody over there on the weekend said the following thing. I can't remember who now. I would quote him. I can't remember who. I heard so many things. Can't remember. He said, Bereshis. first word in the Torah, in the beginning, the root of everything, right? Essentially, because the whole tree is in the seed already. So the Gemara says, right, the whole Torah is in Bereshis. The whole Bereshis is in the first pasuk. The whole first pasuk is in the word Bereshis. The whole Bereshis is in the base. The whole base is in the dot in the middle of the base. Everything is just. So Bereshis really includes everything. Because everything is all about starting again, making a new beginning. So everything is Bereshis. Bereshis is Beis, Reshis. 2 starts. Make a new beginning. Okay. He said, look at the Nekudos. Look at the Hebrew vowels in the word Bereshis. What do you have? You have a Beis is a Shva. Right? And a Shva is 2 dots, one on top of the other. The Resh is a Tseirei. That's 2 dots that are next to each other. And then under the Yud, Bereshis, or under the Shin rather, is a Chirik, is just 1 dot. He says this is the unfolding of history. First, spirituality is revealed in a hierarchical way, where it's one on top of the other. He's the rabbi, he's the student. He's the Rebbe, he's the Chassid. As we get closer to the end of time, it becomes a podcast. It's Eirei. Nice. It's 2 dots that are next to each other. Same thing. Now, nobody's sitting on a stage and preaching. We're hanging out. It's Eirei. He said the ultimate tikkun will be when it's just there is no, it's not even like different. It's just, we're just souls that are trying to find our way.
Unbelievable.
Bereshis. Wow. So this is the light of Mashiach. I'm telling you, you guys are channeling the light of Mashiach. You have to realize that. You have to appreciate that. It's not, okay, yeah, obviously you want to have a lot of views and you want to be successful and Hashem should bless you and everything.
Amen.
But that's not, that's not where the ikr is, because whatever happiness you're looking for in this, if that's why you're looking for it, you won't ever get it.
We would have gave up 7 months ago.
You won't ever get it. Yeah. And Be'ez Hashem, no, it will be successful, but that's not what's going to bring you happiness, because that's not why you're doing that. I know that that's not why you're doing this. And that's not why I do what I do. Baruch Hashem, I've had, audiences and cheering crowds and people sending me messages. I promise you, on a happiness level, Zeluk doesn't help you. It doesn't help you. You'll be just as miserable. We have this strange human thing where we take criticism much more seriously than we take praise. Right. It's like you'd have 100 people telling you, you're sheer, this, and changed so my life. The one idiot, it's like a random person. You don't even know who it is. Like, it's not even chashuv. Like, it's not who critiques you. I don't know if it's just me, but like, this is the one. It's a dimion. It's a crazy ego thing. It makes no sense. Yeah. The happiness comes from the fact that you're doing something real. You're a part of something great. Through you is coming down an Ar Chadash Al Tziyah, a new light. And it comes down through the content, because you're choosing very appropriate speakers. My closest friends, Yonatan Atiyaz, is my deepest friend in the world. Did you ever meet a neshama like that? I mean, he's all soul. He's all soul. Yonatan is mamash Mashiach the soul. So both from the content and from the context, which we spoke about, just the fact that this is happening. It's Mashiach times. Mashiach times.
So big for us. We were just talking about earlier, and every single business advice, it's always about knowing your passion, your drive. Why are you doing this? So you can make it vague. Oh, it's cute. We're trying to inspire, uplift people. I think you're really hitting it on the nail. And I think me and Mo are going to have to sit afterwards and really get it. Like, what is that light? Because it's still a little vague. Yeah. Our specific, unique light.
Yes, so important. Huge. And by the way, that correlates exactly to what we said earlier in the conversation about the why in Yiddishkeit. It's the same thing. If you don't have your why, so then everything falls apart. It's like Simon Sinek, that's his main thing. It's the why. But it's not his chiddush. All this stuff, it's not their chiddush. They know how to express it maybe in more appropriate, relevant ways, whatever it is. But and this is basics of Pnimius HaTorah. The first sphera in the system of the spheres is Keser, right? What's the spheres? I have time to go into the whole thing now, right? But spheres basically.
I'll be honest, that was the one chapter that I skimmed over. I have 0 notes on that. 0.
You know what? There are so many people, and I feel bad about it. Is that people started reading the book and they loved it. They got to the spheres
and then they got turned off. I think the same thing.
And this was part of what we talked about in the conferences. Language.
It's very hard to hear for you, no?
Language. It is what it is. Nothing's hard. This is what I did, and it's from Hashem. We'll have to figure out going forward, if we have to change something. Okay. But it's important for people to know about the spheres. It's important for people to have it in a relatable way that makes sense, and that will happen, and that's happening more and more. But it's basically the creative process through which God created and sustains existence, and a step after step after step process, in a very similar way to a person who would compose and make beautiful music. There's a process. A person who paints a picture. Process. Where does the process begin? The first sphera, the first step, is keser, means crown. And it correlates with, remember?
I don't.
Keser is will, motivation, ratzon, your why. So Kabbalah is teaching us that you can't move an inch in any process unless you start with your why. You have to start with your why. When you have a why, then everything comes to life.
Unbelievable.
And that's true for podcasting. That's true for Yiddishkeit. I'll just say a word because I think we're running out of time. I'll just say a word about the book.
Yeah, and use this as a wrap-up message.
Sure. It's everything we spoke about. It's not anything new.
Mm-hmm.
The book is a commentary on the first tale that Rabbi Nachman of Breslov told as part of the 13 original tales that he revealed before the end of his life that were called Sipurei Maisios, story tales. These stories are not like regular Chassidic stories that are stories about a Rebbe and miracles and wonders and different things. These stories are they're just fairy tales. They're not even about Jews. It doesn't say the word, most of them. There's one, the rabbi's son is one about Jews. Generally, it's just stories. You don't even know like who, when, where. Like it's none of that. It's just the most tripped out, to use common language. It's mamish like a trip. It's like stories within stories within stories, enchanted forests, knights that laugh, beggars, cripples, conventions of people who are sitting around remembering the earliest thing that they can remember. It's all esoteric. And the whole Kabbalah is in Sipurei Maisios. Have you heard of the Yanuka?
Yes. I was just sitting down with, you ever heard of Yosef Bahar?
I know a Bahar, but I don't think it's Yosef Bahar. Who is that?
He's he was a ex Hollywood producer. He worked on like huge movie sets and shows, stuff like that. And now he's like one of his, I guess, prodigies, I guess. He works very, very closely with the Rebbe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So the Yanuka came to speak to us. He spoke for like an hour and a half, like 2. He just stream of consciousness, Kala Kula. But the man is Rabbi Nachman. It's straight, just Rabbi Nachman's Torah, Chassidus. He gets it. He speaks our language. He plays music, which Gadol Adar. You have to understand we're living in messianic times. So at the end of his speech, he said that out of all of the most exalted Sifrei Kabbalah, he said there's one Sefer that's mamish like the Sefer Kabbalah. Everyone's waiting to hear him say Eitz Chaim from the Ari, Pardes Yirmanim from the Ramak, Sefer Yetzirah, Sefer Azayar, Shari Oira, say some Kabbalistic Sefer. He says Sipurei Maisios from Rabbi Nachman of Breslov.
I just got chills.
He says is the highest and most exalted Sefer Kabbalah.
Wow.
And there's not a word in there about spheres or anything. And that was his point. It doesn't have to be that language per se. The whole Sefer is mamish, the whole Kisvei Arizal, everything in there. So the first of those stories is called The Lost Princess. Very briefly, it's about a king who has 7 children, 6 sons, 1 daughter. Which I think obviously, if we're thinking on a deeper level, what it symbolizes, so you think of 6 and 1, it's obviously the 6 days of the week and Shabbos, right? That's in Judaism, that's 6 and 1. 6 days of the week are days of action, doing, externality, quantity. How much money do you make? How many projects do you complete? How many deals do you close? And it's very quantitative and it's very doing oriented. They're called Sheishes Yemei HaMaisa, right? 6 days of action. Shabbos is like a feminine energy. It's not doing, it's being. Kivo Shavas mikol malachta. On Shabbos, you just sit. Shabbos is Shabbos. You don't do anything. You just chill. You just contemplate, meditate. You sit. So, Rabbi Nachman's telling us a story about a princess, Shabbos, who gets lost. So he's really telling us about our modern lifestyle, where it's become all about doing and accomplishing and how much you can show the world and make your value contingent on like something that you can show someone else. We put so much stock in what other people think of us. Do you know that those very same people that we're relying on them for validation literally rely on us for their validation? You understand how silly this is? You have a bunch of insecure people who each one of them has whatever value they have because of that other guy. But that other guy only has whatever feeling of value he has because of you. I'm telling you. So that's called Sheishis Amaisa. So we have the 6 days of the week down pat. As it comes into Yiddishkeit, it means the body without the soul. It means the institutions of different shuls and organizations and yeshivas and kollalim and Pesach programs and minyan factories, all of it. We have that. Like we said, the infrastructure is there. Like schools are built. The buildings are big and beautiful and state of the art. But Shabbos is missing. What's Shabbos? Everything that we were talking about the whole time. A real relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. A real kesher with the Bari Olam. But for real. Direct, authentic, vulnerable, present, honest. Mamish, all pervasive, so that my Judaism isn't one facet of my life. It's every breath I take. I like to say before the Baal Shem Tov, they told you Torah was life. Which means learning Gemara is life. Everything else called Parsh Mimeta Parsh Menachem, right? Which is a lashon you find, right? Whoever separates from it separates from life. And everything else you just like is a b'diavad, and you got to find a way to get back to the base medrash because that's life. The Baal Shem Tov said. He said, you know what Torah means? Torah means hora'ah, means a message from God. It means a communication from the divine. So the Baal Shem Tov didn't say Torah is life. The Baal Shem Tov said life is Torah.
Whoa. I don't think there's any smooth way to wrap this up. I think we just have to sit on this.
Life is Torah.
Wow.
Every encounter, every circumstance, every experience, aliyahs, yeridas, where at the office, at home, laundry. And I saw one of our chaver posted after the Shabbos. He posted a GIF. It said it's a thing that said after the ecstasy, the laundry.
Nice.
Whatever it is, whatever you're doing, it's elokus. It's elokus. The kalim, the r, it's all r. It's elokus. We lost Shabbos. And so the whole book effectively is about the search of the viceroy, the second in command, who's searching to bring that back. How to find the princess. And part of the finding of the princess, for example, chapter 5 is Shvil Menatzah. But there are many, many, many different aspects and angles and details. And that means you want to bring God back into your life, make Torah your own, make tefillah your own, make mitzvahs your own. Find out what your own soul is grappling with, and that's your job. And that's Sur Meirah. Find out the Asay Tov. And make Yiddishkeit real. Turn the thing on. Otherwise, you're going to sit with a beautiful Tesla, and you never turned it on. So it's not going anywhere. It looks very nice, but it's not. We want a Yiddishkeit that moves. We want a Yiddishkeit that propels, a Yiddishkeit that not only can move us forward, but can enable us to do our part as part of a national spirit that is literally in this world and in history to move the entire humanity and the entire existence forward into the embrace of our loving Creator. Hashem should bless us. We should do this.
Amen.
You're already doing it.
Thank you. Wow. Oh my gosh.
It's so crazy. I just want to thank you for coming on the podcast. I feel so incredibly overwhelmed with joy, and I feel just super lucky, and I'm super, super grateful that you were able to give us an hour.
I feel the same way.
And yeah, well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It's been an absolute honor.
It's awesome. Thank you, Rabbi. Wow. Chazak.